The BrickLink Designer Series Program 7 sets were just announced. There are 5 finalists that you can order beginning on February 1st, 2026. It's a long way off, but of course, there are some really cool things going on with these sets. We want to react to them, put it in the big picture of where the BrickLink Designer Program is going, speculate in terms of the prices, and tell you which ones we are thinking about possibly ordering. So let's go ahead and move into the first one. Now the first one is the Antique Collection, which has 1,471 pieces. This is a really cool set. I like the chair, table, and cabinet array. Now the chair, we'll talk about that one first. It has some really nice building techniques with the boat studs reversed. So it's going into the chair and you've got these little smooth curves in the chair, which makes it look pretty comfortable. I really like how the table is built because you have the tabletop itself done in snot work, and then you've got these really cool books on top of them with different techniques that allow you to get a feel for what the whole purpose of the setup is, which is to have a fun, relaxing chair with some books and your antiques in the cabinet. Now the cabinet has a lot of really good detailing to it. If you look at the exterior of it, there's so much going on, lots of double curve slopes, double angled pyramid slopes. You've got croissants at the bottom that help form some of the curves. At the top, you've got the Animal Crossing window, you've got the pumpkins and frogs on top, and all throughout, little details that demonstrate this build is not going to be repetitive. There's going to be a lot of really cool components to it and engaging. Now the back of the set is very clean. It's all reddish brown, which I appreciate given that we've seen some other sets that Legos come out with that doesn't really do that. Inside the cabinet though, there are a lot of fun details, including a goat, minifigs with the transparent heads I think is really nice, and lots of little tchotchkes that fill up that entire cabinet. So this is a fun set. It is bigger than minifig scale, of course. It does have those minifigs on the inside, which I think is an interesting approach to the set. In terms of price, I think this one's going to be around 150 US dollars, maybe a little bit under because there aren't as many minifigs here as there are in other sets, but that strikes me about where the BrickLink Designer Program is in terms of the 10 cents per piece and factoring in some of the minifigs with that. The second set is Walt the Little Robot, and it comes with 663 pieces. This set is really fun. There are 17 different posable joints in the robot, which really helps with the playability and the cuteness factor. I think it's one of the things that's fascinating about this set is that it has a lot of personality. You can see this with the other faces that you can put on top of the robot, and it gives the different expressions and adds that personality to it. Now there are some really fun building techniques in this set, such as how you put the face in. Also on the back, there are batteries that you can put in there and a little cover for those batteries. One of the things I really enjoy about this set though is that it does look very suitable for a robot. It's that sleek white look, very smooth, not a lot of exposed studs, and you have the black joints, which fits really nicely along with the black face. And that is a nice modern view of the robot. I also really like the contouring with the legs with the different cone pieces. Really nice touch, and I think this set does look fantastic overall. Now I think the robot is probably going to find its way to about 60 US dollars. That'd be a little bit under 10 cents per piece, but there aren't any stickers and there are no minifigs, so this one could be maybe $55 to $60 in that range. At least that's what I'm hoping for. The third set is the Privateer Frigate Fortuna, which comes with 4,000 pieces and 12 minifigs. Now this one is absolutely huge. I know that the image has it look maybe smaller than it actually is, but there's a lot to this. It's very, very long. It has a good width to it, but there are so many fun details. This is the brick builder's paradise of ships. Everything is brick built. Looks like the hull is brick built by and large. There's a lot of contours and shaping with that. The cabin doors are brick built. The cannons are brick built. So many things in there that are just details. The masts are made out of barrels. The sails are made out of bricks and bow slopes, and all that stuff is just fantastically detailed throughout the entire ship. There's a stove, there's all these details in the cabin, on the deck. This is really, really fantastic, but it is, I think, going to be extremely expensive. Yes, it's 4,000 pieces. That's the maximum that you can do under the BrickLink Designer program, so I anticipate that being around $400, but maybe even more given all of the minifigs and maybe some of the larger pieces that you have in that set. So don't be shocked if this one's over $400, which would put it, I think, among the, if not the highest, most expensive BrickLink Designer Program Series set yet, although we'll find out when they announce the pricing. The fourth set is the Sushi Restaurant, coming with 3,409 pieces, 25 stickers, and 7 minifigs. I mentioned the 25 stickers because it is more stickers in this set than all of the other Series 7 sets combined. In fact, 25 stickers is quite a bit for a BDP set. But these stickers are relevant. You can see all of the details that are on those stickers in the images, and we know that LEGO is not going to give us brand new printed parts for these sets. What's important to think about this set is, in watching some of that release video that they had on YouTube, this was something we could have voted on and had the opportunity to vote for in the past, but it didn't make it to the finalists. Now it is, and I think this is going to be one of those sets that could be snatched up really quickly. One of the reasons I believe that is because LEGO BrickLink Designer Program sets are no longer allowed to be modular in the conventional set. No 16 by 32 or 32 by 32 base plates with the Technic pins for modular connections, and they don't want it to have that look or feel of a modular building. This set gets around that by being on regular plates built up from the bottom, and it doesn't have the same modularity to the sets that we see every year come out in roughly January. Now you can open this up by cracking it in half, which shows the interior of one half and the interior of another, and there are different layouts that you can use for the set. And there are so many great details here. You look at all the different building techniques. It looks a little bit like a Ninjago City set because of the subject matter. The roofing techniques are different. The cherry tree, the busyness of the set. There's a lot going on. Busy sidewalk. You got a vending machine. You've got different stalls. You've got different elements of the building coming out in different directions. But it also feels a little bit like a modular because of the building techniques, because it does have a more conventional roof on the top. And it does have a modular feel to it in that you've got the tram or railway tracks that you can connect to different sides of the set. This, again, a lot of details, and is one that I think is going to be snatched up very quickly. With nearly 3,500 pieces, I do think the Sushi Restaurant is going to be around that $320 to $350 mark, maybe a little bit more depending on some of the other pieces that we see in there and how much it costs to print stickers. I don't think that's going to be hugely expensive, but given some of the prices I've seen from LEGO, wouldn't shock me if it just crested the $350 mark. The last set is the Alchemist Shop with 2,126 parts and 6 minifigs. I really like the set because it is medieval, and you know me, I'm a sucker for medieval sets. What's important to note, though, is that similarities with the medieval blacksmith shop, the idea set from 2021, has a similar roof style, has a similar build style. Even the construction of the base with lots of plates is similar to that. You've got a tree. Now there's more of a garden work to it, and some other details like the little fountain on the one side of it, but you've got the Tudor, you've got the profile bricks in gray. There's a lot that reminds me of that particular set. That doesn't mean that this is not a good set. It is unique. It has a great feel to it. Lots of cool details like that hidden room and the cart that's foldable. So there's some fun aspects to it. It's got some playability, it's got some displayability, and it's something that you can fit in with a medieval layout. So I am all about this set. In terms of price, I think it's going to be closer to that $220 to $250 mark because of the number of pieces. I don't think the amount of minifigs is going to crest that a lot more, but again, I'm pretty down on LEGO pricing right now, so it wouldn't shock me if they bumped that up to at least $230, although I think $220 would be appropriate for that set, and I'm hoping it's between $200 and $220 US dollars. So the last two things I want to do in this video are to talk about the big picture of the BrickLink Designer program and Lego, and then tell you which sets of these 5 we are most likely to get if we're going to get any at all. The first thing I noticed is that there are no actual castle builds. Now the BrickLink Designer program has done a great job of giving us castle builds over the years, and the upcoming series before we get to the February 1st crowdfunding for this series does have more castle sets available or possibly available for us to buy as long as they're crowdfunded. This one does have the Alchemist shop, but it is the only medieval set, and we are used to seeing maybe 1, if not 2 medieval style sets in the BDP. So it's kind of interesting that that's where we're at with this particular one. Now, I also want to mention that there is a lot of variation in the piece counts for these sets, ranging from like 660 for the robot all the way up to the max of 4,000. I like this because there are some lower piece count sets available, which means there are some potentially budget-friendly sets. If that robot is available for roughly $60, it's going to be a fantastic buy. I think a lot of people are going to like that, and it might sell out pretty quickly because of its affordability, its charm, personality, and some of the building techniques that you see in it. Another thing that I want to emphasize is that these sets are all fantastic. The look of the sets, the building techniques, these really do have a lot of elite components to them, and I'm glad that people voted for these sets to get them available on the BDP. I don't know about the execution in terms of the strength of all the different building components and how it all fits together. I can tell you of the one BrickLink Designer program set that we do have, the Forest Stronghold, there was by and large really fantastic build, but some spots were a bit frustrating, which we're going to talk about later on in a review when we get around to reviewing that particular set. But these are all really good, and if you enjoy them, I highly recommend going out and getting them because maximum of 30,000 of each of these will be produced, and once they're sold out, they're sold out. You're gonna have to spend a ton of money on the aftermarket to get these sets. Before getting to our topics, I do want to also mention that there is going to be a submission period for BrickLink Designer Series, Program Series 8 coming up in April. So if you're interested in putting something together and submitting that, you can do that in April of 2025. But it is good to see that these sets, the BrickLink Designer Program, is going strong and delivering some really fantastic sets that maybe we don't always see in Lego form. Now, which ones are our favorites? Well, when we were looking at all of the different options when we could vote for them, the one that we noticed that ended up being a finalist is the Alchemist shop. And again, I've mentioned that I'm a sucker for castle and medieval style sets, so that's one that I would definitely look at getting. Would I look at getting any of the others? Maybe. The sushi shop is really fantastic, and I'm curious to see what it would be like to modularize that. The only issue is it is going to be very, very expensive, and we definitely pick and choose what we get. So if we were to get one of these, even though the robot might be the least expensive, because of the castle theme, I would get that. But again, a lot of these are fantastic sets. My personal rankings would be in 5th place, the antique cabinet; in 4th place, the robot; 3rd place, the ship; 2nd place, the sushi restaurant; and in 1st place, the Alchemist shop. But again, that's my subjective rankings based on what I'm interested in Lego and why I get Lego and what I'm into. So for other people, I can imagine that it's going to be the whatever order you want. But I do think the Alchemist shop and the robot and the sushi restaurant are going to be the 3 that are most likely to sell out. I think the frigate is really fantastic, but like the Wild West train, I think it is pretty pricey, and it just may be too much for some people to go out and get. And I'm skeptical that the antique set is really going to find a huge audience, given it's a weird scale. And it may not, it's still going to be a little bit expensive, I think, for accessibility for the typical Lego fan. So that's my predictions. Let me know what you think about these sets in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.